This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea.
This is Voice of Korea. Dear listeners, now we start English language service of Voice of Korea from Pyongyang, the capital of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Now here's Mixed Pulse, song of General Kim Il-sung. Now here's male chorus, son of General Kim Jong Il.
The respected Comrade Kim Jong Un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea and President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, met and had a photo session with the activists in resistance to the army on February the 14th, who had been invited to the celebrations of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army as special representatives and enjoyed themselves in Pyongyang. She sent warm encouragement and thanks to the activists in the assistance to the army, raising stormy cheers. He warmly said every step for victory of the revolutionary armed forces is associated with the priceless services and efforts of the genuine patriots who have accepted the party's line on building a powerful army and policy of attaching importance to the military affairs as the absolute truth and the primary need of life, and become a foundation for accomplishing the great cause of building up a richer country with a strong army. He highly appreciated the noble spiritual world of the activists in the assistance to the army, saying they keenly feel before anybody else that building a powerful country is unthinkable without strong national defense. And they know well that assisting the army is the greatest patriotism. They have sent all their children to the army and are sincerely assisting the army with the noble consciousness that they are defending the trenches for national defense together with the service personnel, though everything is difficult. Kim Jong Un also said, "The spirit of the activists in the assistance to the army is a breath alive with the indomitable tenacity of women at the Kumgang village in the 1950s who had assisted the army even during the hard-fought war. It is a vigorous continuity of the great patriotic spirit of those in the Cholima era who had built the defense of the country impregnable and firmly, thinking first of the state affairs before their household affairs, even on the debris of the war. Such a spirit ought to be considered to be the first in the present struggle for the overall development of socialist construction, and it is a model everybody should follow." The 70-year-long trials undergone to defend the victory in the war are more priceless than those that brought the victory in the war. The 70-year-long history of the great victory could be exalted thanks to the ardent loyalty displayed on the long road of consolidating the absolute strength of our state in every way. Kim Jong Un expressed the expectation that the activists in resistance to the army would in the future too invariably lead a journey of life as typical patriots in further sublimating the spirit of resistance to the army, social customs peculiar to Juche Korea, under the slogan of our army first principle, and let a picture taken with them. He promised to invite those grateful activists in resistance to the army to the celebrations of the 70th anniversary of war victory, noteworthy in the history of the country, again as special representatives, and wished all of them good health and welfare. You are listening to VOK, Voice of Korea, News Now.
The respected Comrade Kim Jong Un, General Secretary of the Workers' Party of Korea, President of the State Affairs of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces of the TPRK, received a message of greetings from Bashar al-Assad, President of the Syrian Arab Republic, on the 9th. The message extended heartfelt congratulations to Kim Jong Un on the occasion of the 81st birth anniversary of Kim Jong Il, a prominent and great leader of the TPRK, and wished the TPRK constant progress and prosperity. He highly appreciated the stand of Kim Jong Un, who is supporting the struggle of the Syrian people for territorial integrity and defense of the country. It affirmed the consistent stand of the Syrian Arab Republic to strengthen the historic relations with the TPRK and develop the bilateral cooperation in different fields in the interests of the friendly peoples of the two countries. The message wished Kim Jong Un good health and welfare. The respected Comrade Kim Jong Un received the floral baskets from the Beijing Chaoya International Cultural Exchange Center in China, Director Jin Jian and Honorary Director Cui Tong-wen of the Board of Directors of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong Il Foundation, members of the foundation Lin Gun-nan and Cui Yan, the family of Zhang Weihua, a Chinese related to the anti-Japanese Revolution, and Jindale Safarini, president of the Jindale Children's Foundation, on the 14th, on the occasion of the 81st birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. That day, he also received a floral basket from Tsai Tie-jun, honorary vice chairman of the board of directors of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong Il Foundation. Co-chairman Johnny Hon and Vice Chairman Keith Bennett of the Board of Directors of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong Il Foundation and its members Konstantin Jerichenko and Dmitry Feokhtistov sent floral baskets in their joint names to the bronze statues of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il on Mansu Hill on the occasion of the 81st birth anniversary of Kim Jong Il. Floral baskets were also sent to bronze statues of the great leaders by the Board of Directors of the International Martial Arts Foundation, the Beijing International Cultural Development Center for China TPRK Friendship, the Japan Committee for Supporting the Independent and Peaceful Reunification of Korea, Director Thomas Carl Lichter, and Honorary Directors Cui Tong-wen and Chiu Jian-liang of the Board of Directors of the Kim Il-sung Kim Jong Il Foundation, members of the foundation Svetlana Ozintsova, Sidrak Badashan, and Henrik Nidkubist, Yuri Bakrov, member of the Russian Committee to praise the great persons of Mount Baekdu, Hesuk Hobi, chairman of the Benin-Korea Amicable Association, Long Live Kim Jong Il Supreme Leader, the families of Liang Changlong, Piao Ji-sung, and Jin Zhe, China resident Koreans related to the anti-Japanese Revolution, the family of Jin Sun-mil, a person related to the anti-Japanese Revolution, the families of Zhou Baozhong, Feng Zhongyun, Cai Sui-rong, Chen Lei, Jie Qing, and Fan Delin, Chinese related to the anti-Japanese Revolution, the family of the internationalist Yate Novichenko, and Liu Xing, general manager of the Shenyang Fansu Yixing Commercial Company Limited of China, who is a son of Fan Delin's daughter. The floral baskets were placed before the bronze statues of the great leaders on the 14th. On the other hand, Floral baskets were laid before the bronze statues of the great leaders in the name of the missions of international organizations in the DPRK and the family of Kim Jong Un, general manager of the Beijing Jinchuan Power Science and Technology Company Limited of China. Oratorical contests were held respectively at the People's Palace of Culture and the Central Hall of Workers on the 14th, on the occasion of the 81st birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. Present there were Minister of Culture Sung Jung-gil and officials and working people in Pyongyang City. The orators ardently praised the immortal exploits of Kim Jong Il, who made a long journey for the people all his life, demonstrating the invincibility and might of people-centered socialism of Korean style all over the world. They also impressively told about the devoted service for the people's well-being made by the respected comrade Kim Jong Un, who is translating the dreams and ideals of the people into brilliant reality. The grand performance, Songs of Workers dedicated to February, was given by the Workers' Art Squad of the Central Committee of the General Federation of Trade Unions of Korea at the Central Hall of Workers on the 14th. To celebrate the 81st birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. It was enjoyed by Lee Do-sung, Department Director of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Park In-cheol, Chairman of the Central Committee of the General Federation of Trade Unions of Korea, officials of the General Federation, and workers and trade unionists in Pyongyang City. The performance started with duo narration, Ardent Yearning. Put on the stage were colorful items, including the dialogic poem, The Road of Harbor, the male duet, Song of Love for the People, the mixed duet, The Rays of Affection, and the female solo, Song of Passion. A meeting of agricultural workers and members of the Union of Agricultural Workers of Korea was held at the Migokri House of Culture in Sariwon City on the 14th to celebrate the 81st birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. Present there were Min Sung-chul, Deputy Department Director of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, Lee Il-hyuk, Secretary of the North Gangwon Provincial Party Committee, officials concerned, officials of the Union, and agricultural workers. The reporter and speaker stressed that the birth of Kim Jong-il on Mount Baekdo, the sacred mountain of revolution, is a great fortune of the nation, which promised a bright future of Church Korea, and a world historic event, which opened up a bright prospect of the human cause of independence. The immortal revolutionary life and exploits of Kim Jong-il are more brilliant under the outstanding leadership of the respected comrade Kim Jong Un, they said, and called for glorifying this significant year, marking the 75th founding anniversary of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and the 70th anniversary of the victory in the Fatherland Liberation War with the proud success of high years under the leadership of the great Party Central Committee. Academic degrees and titles were awarded to intellectuals on the occasion of the Day of the Shining Star, the birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. Intellectuals have worked hard to suppress the cutting edge, in hearty response to the idea of the Workers' Party of Korea on attaching importance to science and technology, and achieved the successes in scientific researches and education, making a contribution to building a powerful socialist country and improving the people's livelihood. According to a decision of the State Commission for Conferment of Academic Degrees and Titles, the title of academician was awarded to Park Hak-cheol, first Vice President of Kim Il-sung University. The title of candidate academician was awarded to teacher An Myung-hun at Kim Il-sung University. Researchers Kim Sun-ho and Kim Soo-ha at Kim-cheok University of Technology, and researcher Kim Yong-gun at the Pyongyang University of Fine Arts. And the professorship was conferred on 20 people and doctorate on 76. Art performances of ministries and national agencies for celebrating the Day of the Shining Star were given at the East Pyongyang Grand Theater and the Central Youth Hall on the 14th. The performers included officials of over 30 units, including the Ministry of Metallurgical Industry, the Ministry of Electric Power Industry, the Ministry of Public Health, the Publications Guidance Bureau, and the Working People's Organization's Publishing House. put on the stages were titles, including the choruses General Kim Jong Il, Fearless Patriot, and The Dear Name, and the Kumgang players singing Immortal Masterpiece, The Embrace of My Motherland. Members of the Foreign Diplomatic Corps in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea visited the National Gifts Exhibition House on the 14th on the occasion of the 81st birth anniversary of the great leader Kim Jong Il. In the General Review Hall, they paid homage to the full-length statues of smiling Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il. Listening to an explanation that the National Gifts Exhibition House was wonderfully built as the eternal treasure of Kim Il-sung's nation, they looked round the gifts, representing the boundless reverence of the whole fellow countrymen for the fearlessly great men Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il. The 11th cooking contest for the Day of the Shining Star was held at the Pyongyang Noodle House between the 12th and the 14th. Present there were cooks, waiters and waitresses, as well as officials, who were selected from the public catering and external service units belonging to the militaries, national agencies, and Pyongyang City. There were a contest of cooking various kinds of foods and making drinks, a food exhibition showing the peculiarities of the units, and a demonstration of excellent cooks. A closing ceremony held on the 14th was attended by Vice Premier Lee Sung-hak, officials concerned, cooks and waiters and waitresses. Diplomas, medals, and certificates were awarded to the highly estimated organizations and participants. In the meantime, cooking contests were also held at well-known restaurants in the provinces. The cabinet held a meeting of summing up the last year's forest restoration campaign and work of general mobilization for land administration through video conferencing on the 14th. Present there were Kim Jong Un, member of the Presidium of the Political Bureau of the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea, and Vice President of the State Affairs Commission, and Premier of the Cabinet of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, senior officials of the party and the government, and officials of the cabinet, commissions, ministries, national agencies, party and government organs in the provinces, cities and counties, and relevant sectors. Also on hand were officials of the armed forces organs. The meeting made a detailed analysis and review of the successes, experiences, and lessons in the last year's forest restoration campaign and work of general mobilization for land administration. It discussed measures to bring about a new change in the land administration, such as afforestation, river improvement, and anti-landsliding projects this year. Educational institutions in Pyongyang City are working hard to raise the educational level. The Daedonggang District Teachers In-Service Training Center has correctly set stepwise goals for improving the qualifications of teachers and is creating new teaching methods and actively introducing advanced educational methods. In this way, it is conducting the work to bring about the practical improvement in education in various forms and methods, according to the characteristics of schools and subjects. The Sosong District Teachers In-Service Training Center is also putting efforts into creating useful and excellent new teaching methods and experiences conducive to fostering the practical ability of students. The Internet International Seminar, 75th founding anniversary of the Invincible Korean People's Army, was held between the 6th and the 10th under the sponsorship of the Korean Friendship Association. Seen on the special webpage are photos showing the undying feats performed by the great leader Kim Il-sung for the building of the regular armed forces, the gigantic exploits of the great leader Kim Jong Il to shine in the history of building the Juche-based army forever, and the leadership exploits of the respected comrade Kim Jong Un, who has developed the Korean People's Army into the most powerful revolutionary armed forces in the world. There are a photo of the floral basket sent by the Korean Friendship Association to the bronze statues of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il on Mount Hill on the occasion of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army, and tons of photos showing the tremendous power of the Korean People's Army. The seminar blogged a letter presented to Kim Jong Un by the participants in the seminar, congratulatory letters sent by the Association for Promoting the Korea-Europe Cultural Interchange, the Korean Committee for Solidarity with the World People, the Korean Latin American and Caribbean Regional Friendship Association, and the Korean Asia Pacific Exchange Association, and a number of leading articles along with written speeches. Present there were Chairman Alejandro Cao de Pinos, and other official representatives of the Korean Friendship Association and its branches in different countries. There were speeches at the seminar. Speakers ardently praised Kim Il-sung, Kim Jong Il, and Kim Jong Un, who pioneered the cause of building the Juche-oriented army and advanced it victoriously, and eulogized the Korean People's Army, which is fully demonstrating the dignity and might as a powerful army while covering the most proud and glorious cause under the care of the outstanding brilliant commanders. A letter to Kim Jong Un was adopted at the seminar. The meeting took place in Cuba, a seminar on the exploits of the great leaders of Korea in the democratic Congo, a lecture in Guinea, and photo exhibitions and film shows in Iran and Algeria between February the 2nd and 8th on the occasion of the 75th founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army. Present at the events were personages of broad stripes and other people in both countries. Screened at the film shows were a film and a program showing the firm self-reliant defense capabilities of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Speakers at the events spoke highly of the proud history of the Korean People's Army, which has constantly grown in strength under the care of the great leaders Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong Il and the respected comrade Kim Jong Un. Meanwhile, a friendly meeting between officials of the Military of Revolutionary Armed Forces and members of the PPRK mission in Cuba was held in Havana on the 5th, on the occasion of the Day of the Shining Star, the birthday of the great leader Kim Jong Il, and the founding anniversary of the Korean People's Army. And that's the end of the news, read by Lee Hyung-soo and Chae Jong-nam in Pyongyang. This is VOK, the voice of Korea.
Now we bring you the song in praise of General Kim Jong Il, created in 1991 or 2002. nearly 17 rounds of the Earth. The great leader Kim Jong Il was born at a log cabin in the Baptist secret camp on February the 16th, 1942. He began his leadership over the Revolutionary Armed Forces in August 1949 or 1960, and started his work at the Central Committee of the Workers' Party of Korea in June 1953 or 1964. In the whole period of his great life, he gave field guidance to more than 14,290 units, covering the distance of over 669,844 kilometers, equivalent to nearly 17 rounds of the Earth. He said, "I've never thought how many units I inspected, nor expected honor or appraisal for my inspection. I'm going on with my inspection tour only to defend the independent dignity and interests of the country and nation and provide the people with the most affluent and cultured life in the world. I have nothing more to desire when our country becomes rich and powerful and our people are well off." Kim Jong Il continued his field guidance and visited nearly 1,000 units for the last 3 years of his great life in particular. It is our life to devote everything to prosperity and development of the country and happiness of the people. I will work harder to make our people better, who are the best in the world. That was his global view and creed of life. Numerous legends of love for the people were told on the road of his field guidance to every part of the country. He visited more than 14,290 units, including army posts on the defense line, unknown fishing hamlets and farm fields, factories, schools and kindergartens, covering the distance of over 669,834 kilometers, which is as good as nearly 17 rounds of the Earth. Those figures represent the whole life of Kim Jong Il, who devoted his all only to the country and people. There was one out under the title, "Nearly 17 Rounds of the Earth." This is Voice of Korea. Here is electric violin solo, Fat Nation. will present a song, Cheers of the People. In its leadership full of love, we see brighter future. Stories about him, new legends, give us boundless hope. We envy nothing as Marshal Kim Jong Un leads us. We fear nobody as we follow Marshal Kim Jong Un. We will live a dignified life in glory and happiness. Here is male solo and male chorus. Go to the mother party. Now you will appreciate the Song of Magnolia from the revolutionary opera Song of Mount Kumgang, created in 1962 or 1973 under the wise guidance of the great leader Kim Jong Il.
난
Dear listeners, with this we conclude the English language service of Voice of Korea from the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Voice of Korea presents its English language service for Europe between 15 and 16 hours UTC, between 18 and 19 hours UTC, between 21 and 22 hours UTC, and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 7,570 kHz and 12,015 kHz. For North America, between 15 and 16 hours UTC and between 13 and 14 hours UTC on 9,435 kHz and 11,710 kHz. And for Northeast Asia, between 4 and 5 hours UTC and between 6 and 7 hours UTC on 7,220 kHz, 9,445 kHz, and 9,730 kHz. Goodbye, this is Pyongyang.